Welcome to Gents Garage. Today we are replacing spark plugs on a ZXR 400. These are the spark plugs themselves. They are with iridium cores, and the owner's manual does specify for Charlie Romeo 9 Echo Kilo for the spark plugs. However, these have now been superseded to these, which are Charlie Romeo 9 Echo Indigo X-Ray. These are the tools you'll need. However, I will provide a list to make it more convenient for yourselves for the job. First, you will need to remove this top fairing with clips either side or bolts. Unfortunately, mine are missing due to this being a restoration. Next will be these Jubilee clips here. You can remove them from here. However, I'm going to take these complete part off as I do need them out of the way. There are two 10mm bolts holding the fuel tank from this position. There are clips to the fuel tank either side of the fairings just here, which you can just separate by popping out here and here. There are two 8mm bolts holding the fuel tank here and here. There is a fuel shut-off valve just below the fuel tank just here, and it does need to be in the off. When you remove the fuel tank, just be careful to not pull too hard, as there are fuel pipes here. The fuel pipes will look like this, which connects to the filter itself, and they will have spring clips located like this, which you can sometimes push with your hand, or a pair of thin nose pliers will do the trick as well. To remove the air filter housing, this clip can be pushed off by hand, and then you will need a trim tool just to pop it off the edge without causing damage to the plastics. There are 8 bolts holding the air filter housing in. However, you do need to remove the outside first, then to the inside. These two centre bolts do have thread attached to the air housing themselves, so they do not need to be done all the way. However, far enough for the engine thread bolts to be detached. As you can see there, they stay in place because they are quite difficult. These are the 4 spark plug locations. However, you will have to pry the actual what cables connect to them, give them a bit of a twist and a turn, as they are rubber bushes inside, so they can be a little bit seized to get them off. Next, you will need a 16mm spark plug tool on a 6-inch extension to be able to get down there and break off the spark plugs. To retrieve the spark plugs, simply use a magnet to pull them out individually from the cylinders themselves. As you can see, the old ones do have thread on the top. As you can see, they have been fouled, so you just simply untwist these and you will be able to expose the thread. To refit the spark plugs, you will need to use a magnet just carefully pop them in, as this clearance cap will be changed if you do drop them. So I simply just put them in, give a bit of a twist so they catch the first bit of the thread. To get them close to the thread, simply start to hand tighten them until all the slack is taken up. These spark plugs, according to the owner manual, are 13 Nm. To get that, you will need to line up this little bar with the 0 on the torque ratchet itself, which is there. and they will be torqued up once you could hear a click around the ratchet themselves. That's the audible click that you do need to wait for to make sure they're torqued down all the way. Once the wheels are all torqued up, you can reverse the procedure to put the bike back together, making sure you follow all the torques for all the bolts themselves. And be sure to make sure these aren't over tight until you damage the plastic housing.